Well, hello and welcome to the Informed Traveler Podcast, a weekly travel podcast where our goal is to help you become a more informed traveler. And I'm your host, Randy Sharman. Travel expert Onanta Forbes is back from her group cruise that was sailing in the Caribbean on board Holland America's Rotterdam. So in a few seconds, we'll check in with her to get the highlights. Plus, festival season is about to begin in Puerto Rico with celebrations beginning the day after the U.S. Thanksgiving in November and culminating with Fiesta de la Calle San Sebastián on January the 20th. So we'll get some insight on all of that. And Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions will be along with a few destination ideas and travel deals with our weekly roundup. But first, let's kick things off chatting with travel expert Onanta Forbes, who joins us each week to discuss some of the travel news and travel trends. You can follow her adventures on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Welcome back, Onanta.
Good to be home. And I love traveling, but I keep on saying this when we chat and I come home. Always good to come home and sleep in your own bed.
It sure is. So last time we chatted with you, you were in Curacao. And after you left Curacao, what happened?
So we had a day at sea, but then our next port of call was in Cartagena. Now, Cartagena, we did take a tour, and we were able to go by a beautiful fort and, see. It was quite large. It's a quite large fort. It was built in the 17th and 18th century to defend the city, and it's considered one of Latin America's most military structure. It's called the Castillo San Felipe de Barra Fort. And one of the things I just want to forewarn people, now we went end of October, November. Now that's still considered hurricane season. So when we were in Cartagena, November, it was pouring rain the whole day. So keep that in mind that, yes, we had beautiful sunny days, but still, it is, you're going to get rain. So continuing on our tour, we also went to the dungeons of the old city, and this is where we saw where local artisans would display their art and their handicrafts here. We went to visit the San Pedro Claver church, again built in the 17th century, and we saw some really great statues and old world furnishings honoring patron saints of slaves. And our last stop was in the Inquisition Palace, and it served as a court, and anybody that was tried by the church is viewed as a heretic. And it definitely had instruments of torture, which were like, man, these people knew how to get things out of different individuals that they thought that were breaking the law back in the day. But, part of history, good to learn about it.
It sounds like it'd be really spooky, actually.
It was,
almost haunting. Right?
Yeah. Well, it definitely was a gray, rainy day that added to the atmosphere. And it made you think about how evil some people could be. Not the people that they thought that were witches or people that stole bread to feed their family, but the people that actually inflicted this torture. Wow.
Yeah. People that had the power, basically.
That's right. And they used it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the highlights of the trip, of course, was going through the Panama Canal. And so our tour here was, we left the pier and then we drove. And even leaving the pier, the coach is getting out of where the ship docked and onto the highway. It was a bit of a production. Like, it was lineup of buses, and their security was really high, which is good because you consider what's going through that those locks to get to their next voyage in their journey. And then we got on a boat ride, which took us through the heart of the Panama Canal. And it was very interesting cruising along these big tankers that were carrying containers, going to various destinations throughout the world. And yes, you could, as a tanker, spend up to 72 hours waiting to get through. But the other way was going like around the tip of South America, and that would take like 28 days. It's not cheap. Like some of the charges that some companies paid were huge, absolutely huge. So it's not a cheap endeavor to go through. Now, when we went on our boat ride, we went through like there was like jungle covered islands on Lake Gatun, and here we got to see lots of monkeys, sloths, howler monkeys, as well as some bird life. I can't say we saw a lot, and butterflies and turtles. And then we had great naturalists, guides that would help us understand what we were seeing as we went through the jungle and the canal. And then we docked, we came back to a new docking, like where we were taken off the boat and where we got back on were different. And it was in Cologne. Now, they have a new mall that's in Cologne port that was quite fun for a lot of the travelers on board our cruise. Like they have the largest, like I don't even know how to say it, dollar store ever in this mall, and it was fun to go through. Let me tell you, lots of other shops. It was like a little bit of a holiday in the country, so there was local bands and dancers that added to the atmospheres as well as the duty free. So good for people who wanted to get out, stretch their legs. Maybe they didn't go on a excursion, and you will find that you don't have to go on every single destination and go on an excursion. Maybe you
No.
just want to walk around the port. Maybe
Yeah,
you just want to
exactly.
enjoy the cruise ship when nobody's on there.
Hmm.
It's whatever you want to do. Now, after that, we had another day at sea, and then we ended up in the province of Limon in Costa Rica. And this is where we went through a rainforest. We went through a banana plantation and cruised the Tortugueo canals. And it was a beautiful day, sunny, warm. We were um, have the opportunity to go on this boat ride. It's a open air covered pontoon boat through the canals. It's also it's kind of like the Caribbean's version of the Amazon. Really neat. It
Hmm.
showed you the lush landscape of Costa Rica, but it was also very close. Like you're going along and you see these villages along the way. So this is where people live, and we saw beautiful birds and sloths. And I welcome people to go onto my Facebook or Instagram page, because there's this sloth that was just munching away, and he was spread right out. It was really lovely to see it. um we went, as I said, through a banana plantation, saw how cacao was grown, as well as how they managed and harvested bananas and got them to, the different ports that took Dole bananas. Dole is huge in this country, to different places in the world. One of the things, as far as like a little tip, make sure you take mosquito repellent and definitely sunscreen. The mosquitoes were huge,
Mm.
absolutely huge here, and they definitely made their presence known. Um, and then our last protocol was Grand Cayman, but we weren't able to dock, and it was canceled because the tropical storm that elevated into Hurricane Raphael.
Uh-huh,
Um,
yeah.
cancel, like the port authorities said no, it's not good. It was a tender port too, so it would have been a really rough ride
Yeah.
to get to the destination. And then so we ended up having, for instead of a day at sea, Grand Cayman as an excursion, and then a day at sea, we had 3 days at sea in a row. So keep that in mind, that itineraries can change, and it's for the best. Like, it's safety first. They're not doing it for any other reason other than keeping travelers safe. So
Hmm.
as well. So, and enjoy the ship. Make the ship your destination at that point. And it was a destination because, there was nights that they had musical trivia. That was kind of fun. They had officers against guests. Um, the, the officers, it's fun to see their actual personalities, right? When they're
Yes.
when they're on board, doing their job, but then also see the fun side of them
Yeah.
when they're in an activity such as that. And, there's a lot. I had one of our guests on our crew love bridge. So they went, and every morning, 10 to 12, they went and did their bridge classes. Um, I had guests that I saw in line dance classes, and that was really fun for them. If you like bingo was there to enjoy. We ended up after, like, it's just because it was happy hour, but during happy hour there was also like trivia that they had, a trivia
Hmm.
quiz, and there's
Hmm.
no prizes attached to it. It's just for fun,
Yeah.
really. At the end of the day, meet your other guests and enjoy it. At night, BB King Blues Bar was huge. Like, they had dueling pianos, and that's really quite a draw for people.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, Different lectures throughout the day. Like, for example, there's a steel band on board. So there was a lecture by the steel band players that kind of told them about the actual instruments and what
Yeah.
kind of sound would come from the instruments and how they would, coax that out of it.
These are
And that,
the steel drums, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So it was so different little things. There's a gym that you can go and you know, enjoy as well as walk around the deck. And people were walking around the deck. It was windy, but it was warm wind, so can't complain about warm wind. Yeah. So there's lots of things to see and do.
I was just going to mention that when they do a cancellation of a port of call, the crew really puts out all the efforts to make sure that the guests on board are looked after and entertained, because it's an extra day at sea. It's an extra day at work for many of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do a really good job.
Yeah. One of the things, like, I don't know if people know that orange is like the color of Holland, America, maybe because of its Dutch influence and heritage. And so they had an orange night. So just before you could like buy orange t-shirt or a belt or orange sunglasses. Orange is my favorite color. So I was right into it. But it was amazing. You could tell people who've traveled in Holland, America before, because they were decked out
Oh,
in
sorry.
orange. Yeah, the hotel general manager of Holland America, he was quite a character. He had orange patent shoes
Oh my
that were
gosh.
brilliant. It was just like, yeah, where'd you get those? So cute. But it was kind of fun. When you think of Holland America, you might want to think about travelers who are ready for relaxation rather than partying. It's open to travelers of any age. Um, Infants must be at least 6 months old, but really, Holland America caters to a mature audience. You're not going to see a lot of kids on board. Every Holland America ship has a gym, a portrait studio, sports, spa, salon, multiple pools, and you have the opportunity to enjoy the various restaurants, and that doesn't include like the cafe and the gelato shop. Um, Relatively speaking, Holland American ships are small. So we've heard like Royal Caribbean has like the Icon on the Seas that has on over 5,600 guests. Well,
Hmm.
Holland America's Rotterdam, it has like just about 2,700. So on the food on board, definitely the larger ships have like a lot of like dozen or more eateries. Some restaurants operate the same on every ship. So there's the Canaletto, which is a casual Italian restaurant, the Lido Market, which is like all you can eat cafeteria style. And then they have their specialty restaurants like the Pinnacle, the Tamarin, um, and like a seafood restaurant. Now, I would definitely suggest as a guest that you look at the menu and really consider, because it is an additional cost,
Yeah.
other than if you have a package like the Have It All package, which includes two specialty dining, whether it's similar to what's already going to be served in other restaurants that don't charge you. So, for an example, the first specialty dining that we did was the Canaletto. Now, it's just an offshoot off of the Lido market, or like, where they have the buffet and stuff. So consider, the noise, and it's not the ambiance that maybe the Pinnacle Grill would have, um, or other restaurants on board. And then consider what you're eating compared to what you could eat other places. We did eat in the Pinnacle Grill. That was our last um, night before we disembark, and it's a steakhouse. And I have to tell you, Randy, the portions were huge, like absolutely huge.
I
I
have
had,
dined in the Pinnacle Grill too. It was many years ago, but yeah, it's quite an experience.
yeah, it is. It's huge. It's well, well prepared. Um, you have like you have your protein, and then you just add on like a baked potato or mac and
Yeah.
cheese or whatever you want. But it's very, very good. Another restaurant that you may consider is like just the ones that have like casual dining, like the poolside burger stand. It's called Dive In, and they sell hot dogs and not they don't sell it, like they offer. There's no
Yes.
additional charge, and burgers and fries, and the fries were really good.
Yeah.
But then you have to consider too, yes, in the Lido, you can just have ice cream. Like there's free ice cream where you can, it's like a do DIY dessert at the ice cream station. So you don't have to pay for that. But you can, but like in another part of it, there is a place where like freshly squeezed orange juice or smoothies are additional choice, or even a milkshake's an additional choice. So just consider that there are add-ons, even in the regular dining room or in Club Orange. You have your regular offerings, but you could also upgrade, like have like add lobster to it for $10. So if you're looking at your budget, consider that not everything's included, not even if you are on a have it all package.
Hmm.
Um, One of the things to consider is your tips. So, your tips are aligned to the number of days that you were on. So, we were on a 12-day one. So, every day we were charged in our account 19 US dollars a day for tips. And you don't have to pay it, but it's an automatic charge. So, if you don't want to pay it, you just go to the guest services and say you want to alter the amount, higher or lower, or not pay it, because it's something that is discretionary.
Yeah.
So you keep that in mind as far as what to do. Water is not free, like other than out of the tap. So if you ordered water through room service, it would be a charge because it's considered bottled water. So consider that as well. Specialty coffees, like in the dining room, espresso is a charge, and freshly squeezed orange juice is a charge, but not if you're part of Club Orange. So that's even above, the have it all. So
Sounds like it can get quite complicated.
it can,
Keeping track of all of that.
it is, but you don't want to come away with a feeling that you were nickeled and dimed to death, right? So
No,
you
true.
so you want to be able to know what is happening, because you don't want that sense of, oh, I didn't get value for what I paid for. I
Well, yeah,
think.
and you also don't want a huge bill at the end of the cruise from all the things that you didn't know that you're being charged for.
Yeah, absolutely. So another thing that they would charge you for is like any Holland America passes along fees and taxes imposed by governments or um, port operators. So you might see a couple $100 added to your base fare. So the service charge we talked about, like on specialty meals or spa services, incur 18% service charge. So like if you have it all package and two specialty dining are included, you still have to pay like the tip on top of that, or the service fee. So
Sounds like this would be one of those cases where a really good travel agent can help you out deciding whether you want the have it
yeah,
all package or not.
right. And that's what we're there for. You know what? Because we're analyzing, exactly what you're paying for, and exactly what you pay on board.
Overall, how did your group rate the cruise? Any feedback in general, though?
They enjoyed it. You know what? They took advantage of all the different activities on board. That's what I really noticed about them. And they, whether they were doing their own thing on their excursions or taking an excursion, they were enjoying the ship as a destination and the port of call as destination. And so I would say they would give it a very strong 4.5 to 5 out of 5.
Nice. Well, people
Yes.
can check out your images from your cruise on Facebook and Instagram and X at Onanta Forbes. And if they want to check out your websites, it's onantaforbes.com. So glad you had a good time. And thank you for contributing all the fun stuff with your cruise. And we'll chat with you next week.
You bet. I'm so blessed in my life and being able to travel. So I give thanks for that.
Well, festival season kicks off in a few weeks in Puerto Rico and runs into January with all kinds of celebrations. So joining us now to share all the details is Davlin Tardy. She is the Public Relations Director for Discover Puerto Rico. DiscoverPuertoRico.com is the website. Hi, Davlin.
Hey, how are you? Greetings from Puerto Rico.
Thank you. It's great to chat with you. I understand that you're gearing up for festival season. I can't think of a better time to be in Puerto Rico than during all these festivals.
Yeah, so Puerto Rico has one of the longest holiday season in the world. We're actually putting our Christmas trees at we speak because we start celebrating Christmas from November to mid-January. And it's interesting because it's the best time to visit the island. Of course, we have a lot of different festivals across the island, but also the weather is really chill for us. So it's kind of 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which for a tropical island is a perfect weather to enjoy our natural wonders, but also to experience the entire island.
I always find it really fascinating in the Caribbean, and because I've been to the Caribbean during the holiday season, and I'm someone that we have real Christmas trees and those types of trees, and you decorate the palm trees, and it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very unique. I will say that one of the most amazing things about Christmas and holidays in Puerto Rico is first the holiday traditional cuisine, which is amazing. You can, enjoy our traditional dishes like the pork and some amazing desserts like the mbleque, which is a coconut pudding, but also our coquito, which is the eggnog. In terms of festivals, travelers can align their vacation schedule with iconic time honor festivals that showcase that Boricua holiday spirit. And Boricua is the name that a person from Puerto Rico received when they born here. So it's part of our campaign too. And that's what we want to, invite travelers to experience on the island. It's like you are in a beautiful island that we have amazing beaches, but also during Christmas, you have that special touch, right? You can enjoy our music, our festivals, our gastronomy, and amazing festivals like La Festival de la Calle San Sebastián, which take place in San Juan, our oldest city. And that also, it's interesting because as you mentioned, we use Christmas trees, but we have palms, right? So you will see amazing Christmas decorations in every single downtown of our different towns around the island.
Well, I think it's also really cool. You can go to the beach on Christmas Day.
Yes. And you have more than 200, by the way, 200 beaches around the island. So just imagine how amazing, right, to be on Christmas with drinking a piña colada, which, by the way, we are the birthplace of the piña colada. So you can have a piña colada in Puerto Rico, celebrating Christmas, having amazing food, meeting amazing people, and having the best time of the year.
Well, it does sound like a lot of fun. Now, getting back to the festivals now. Are they like, is it just one after the other, or are they kind of blend in? How does that work?
They are dispersed during the 3 months. For example, of course, we celebrate New Year's Eve, also the Christmas Day. After that, in January, we start with the Three Kings Day, which is the Epiphany. It's a very familiar day where people, gave gifts for little kids and also celebrate with family gatherings around. And of course, with our traditional dishes. After the Three Kings Day, we have something that we call octavitas. And it's because we love to party, right? So we celebrate and we extend the celebration for 8 years after Three Kings Day, 8 days, I'm sorry. And the idea is that we can continue the celebration with parrandas, which is our Christmas caroling, and other amazing festivities around. And then we finish with the Festival de la Calle San Sebastián, which takes place in San Juan, which is our oldest city. And the idea of that is that we celebrate the closure of Christmas. That festival usually takes place in January 18. It depends on the year, and you have the chance to come to the city, explore and see all the galleries open or the museums are open. You can see artisans, you can see restaurants, you can see all the people celebrating and dancing a little bit of plena, which is one of our most iconic and most important rhythms here on the island.
Would it be like street festivals? Is it like a formal place to go that you need tickets, or is it like
No, it's free,
parades, or it's
actually.
free and it's just everywhere? No matter where you go, you'd find a party.
And even every single town has their own festivals, their own celebrations. So it's really interesting because you can be on the downtown and then you will see people dancing, or you will see stages with local artists and all the stuff. So it's a very, very interesting thing that you can experience only in Puerto Rico during all the holidays.
It sounds like so much fun. Like it's just like no matter what time, like if you went in November, you'd find a party. If you went in December, you'd find one, and you'd find one in January, right?
Yeah, we always have an excuse to party, so it's the perfect destination to explore that.
And now, you mentioned, well, I would think that most people traveling to Puerto Rico, they would start in San Juan, and I've been to San Juan. It's absolutely a beautiful city. I love it.
It is. Old San Juan is our 500 years old city. It has a lot of history. It has a lot of colors. And as you said, it is a beautiful place that has a Spanish heritage across the architecture. But also you can find different fortifications like El Morro and other small stores, galleries, museums, bars like La Factoria, which is one of our most iconic bars on the island. And it's a very special place, as you mentioned. Like you can do a lot of different things around the city and feel safe, feel like you are enjoying a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the must do things that you need to do on the island.
Okay, apart from the festivals, and if I want to explore a little bit, well, I would imagine that if you used San Juan as a home base, you can just kind of branch out and visit the rest of the area of San Juan, or sorry, of Puerto Rico, right?
Yes, actually, Uber and some rideshares applications works perfectly in Puerto Rico, specifically on the metro area, so you can move very, very easily. So in San Juan, you have different neighborhoods, right? You have Condado, which is our tourist area, where you can explore different amazing hotels, but also restaurants and even beaches. Also around, you have Santurce, which is our artsy neighborhood. Over there, you can explore different murals, different galleries, and other museums that are located in this area. Puerto Rico is very interesting because we're a small island, but we have 78 municipalities. So you can imagine how much and how diverse is the product here on the island. 45 minutes from San Juan, you can go to El Yunque, which is our only tropical rainforest and the only one in the U.S. National Forest System. Then in 50 minutes, you can go to take a boat and go to Culebra and see one of the most amazing beaches, which is Flamenco. And of course, you have rum distilleries around the island. We have more than 13. So there is a lot of different things to do, not only in San Juan, as you mentioned, that are easy for visitors. Rather, if you prefer to rent a car or just take Uber, I think it's a very, very easy place to discover.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, and I often ask this: is it better to take a tour, a formal tour, or kind of go on your own? And I always think that if you take a formal tour, you learn so much more.
Yeah, I think it depends on the traveler. I always recommend to see our extended variety of tour operators that we have on the island that are prepared to, give you a lot of history, a lot of facts that can help you understand our culture, our traditions. But also, it's very easy to rent a car if you want to get immersed into different areas like the central area of the island or the south of the island. It's an amazing opportunity to just discover the island in a very authentic way, right? But it depends on the traveler. I think it's a very easy destination. Obviously, our first language is Spanish, but most of the people is bilingual. You will see different signage around the streets. So I think it's a very easy island and place to just rent a car and discover.
Hmm. What are some of the other highlights that, like, if you were my tour guide and you're going to show me some of the highlights and places that I must see in Puerto Rico, are there a couple of spots that you would take me to?
Of course, I'm a foodie personally, so I always recommend people to explore a culinary tour in Old San Juan. So you can start your trip right on the old city and understand our most traditional dishes, history, and enjoy yourself while you are discovering the streets of Old San Juan. I always recommend to do probably a catamaran tour to Culebra, right? So you have a full day trip to Culebra. You can you can do snorkeling. You can see the beach, which is a beautiful beach in the east side of the island. We need to talk about the Bio Bay, right? We have 3 of the 5 bio bays of the world. So it's an amazing experience to have during the night and go to the bio bay in Fajardo, which is in the east side of the island. You can explore the bio bay in a kayak. So you can see this microscopic organism that produce glow dark when you stimulate the movement. So it's a very interesting experience to have while you can enjoy the stars and see a beautiful place, right? I always recommend Ayunque, as I mentioned, is our rainforest. It's a beautiful place to be. And of course, we have rum. So you can go to one of our distilleries. But we are very important also on the coffee area, right? So there is a lot of coffee haciendas in Puerto Rico. I always recommend Hacienda Munjos, which is in the east side of the island, so travelers can experience and understand more about our coffee culture and enjoy a very nice cup of coffee.
I was chuckling when you said rum because I wrote down rum tour. Because
Yes,
I think
you
that
have
would be a highlight to do a rum tour.
Yes, and you have different ones like Casa Bacardi. You know that Bacardi is a very famous brand, and they have the
Hmm.
biggest distillery of the world here in Puerto Rico. So you can go and have a rum tasting or a very, very fun mixology class over there. But also you have other brands like Ron del Barrilito, which is a more premium rum, that you can have, your rum tasting over there. The rum tasting in an hacienda in an hacienda. So it's a very interesting experience to have too.
Hmm. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, I think Puerto Rico is the perfect destination for people that love gastronomy, that love culture, that love the people, right? Puerto Rico is its people. We are a very, very welcoming place that is open for everyone to just to discover and get immersed and see what make us unique. So definitely, if you are interested in know more about the destination, I encourage you to visit and learn more through our website, which is discoverpuertorico.com.
Excellent. Well, you had me at rum, and going to the beach on Christmas Day would be a fun thing to do too. So, and all the festivals, festival season, the perfect time to go to Puerto Rico. Like you said, you can check out the website discoverpuertorico.com, and Davlin Tardy is the public relations director with Discover Puerto Rico. It was fun chatting with you, Davlin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon here.
This is the Informed Traveler Podcast. I'm Randy Sharman. Just want to remind you of our website, theinformedtraveler.org. That's where you can find our contact page if you have any questions or comments about the podcast. You can also email me too with any questions you might have. My email address is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you want to get up-to-date travel info through the week or just see a few amusing travel stories and links, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/informedtraveler, on Instagram at Informed Traveler, or on X at Informed Traveler. So now, as always, we'd like to end the show with our weekly roundup. So joining us to do that is Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions. Good day, sir.
Hello, Randy. Hello, everybody. And a big heartfelt shout out and thank you to all of those who served in the past and to those that are still serving in the armed forces for all they have done and what they continue to do so that we have the lives we have today.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well
Important
said.
date. Speaking of that time of year, winter's here, but thinking of your getaway for next year, a reminder that all the tour companies, cruise lines have all their trips pretty much loaded and ready to be booked for 2025, pretty much anywhere in the world that you may want to go. And also a reminder that we can start looking at your airfares with those or with the companies as early as 11 months out. So if you've got an idea for something you want to do next year, let's chat about it and see what we can put together for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to plan a getaway.
And it sneaks up on you sooner than you think. I mean, here we are in November, right? Almost the middle of November.
Yeah, well, and you were talking last week about cruises for 2026.
I know, right? It just goes by way too quick. One example, if you're it's not too early, like I say, to start thinking about your 2025 Europe travel plans, booking with Air Canada Vacations. Right now, they've got book a new package by November the 17th. You're going to receive $800 off a couple on their tour packages. And again, they've got some really good combos for flight and cruise packages with all the major cruise lines. Yeah, you can save up to $300 a couple of those. And remember, you're earning your Aeroplan points. And Aeroplan member like Randy and I, you can pay for part or all of your booking if you've got enough of them with your Aeroplan points. Just ask us how, and we'll help you figure that out.
Yes, I love the Aeroplan, actually.
Already got your getaway booked for this fall, winter 25. Proud of you. Good for you. If you've not already locked something in, suppliers and resorts have all the products loaded and have had for months. Those sun and beach destinations, some of the more popular dates, Christmas, which is only 7 weeks away, New Year's, Family Day, Spring Break, and Easter, have all been selling really, really well. And for some resorts, they're almost sold out or have limited availability. I know the Barcelo chain in January, they've got a big wellness month that month. They're sold out on a few of the weeks. And I was looking the other day for some of my clients.
Wow.
And that's why we don't talk a lot about offers here on the program anymore like we used to pre-COVID. They're not out there. They don't come out all that often. So for those who like to plan and book well in advance, a lot of product and flights for the spring and summer season are already starting to get loaded in the system. If you're not going away for the winter, but you want to sneak away then, so give us a call again and let's have a conversation and discuss your plans.
Plan ahead so you won't be disappointed. You get what you want, right?
Exactly. Another couple of great suppliers hosted us for a breakfast meeting this week. Playa Resorts, their brands, and you'll recognize a lot of these, include many of the Hyatt resorts, where they have both adult-only and family brands in Mexico, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic. Hilton Resorts, they have some all-inclusives, both adult and family brands in Mexico, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic as well, along with the Wyndham Ultra Resorts, both adult and family-only brands in Mexico and the Dominican. And lastly, they have a couple of Jewel resorts, both adult-only and family brands in Jamaica. So again, there's lots of options for a lot of those large families with 3 kids, which I wish I had back in the day when I had our 3 kids. They've got some great rooms that have separate area with like bunk beds and trundles and that, so you get everybody all in the same room. A lot of them have some fantastic water parks, and always fun for the small and the big kids like me, because there's a lot of us that like to go down those water sides too. Some fantastic locations, great beaches. Again, reminder, we talked about this a couple of times. Black Friday is this month. A lot of the suppliers have early bird offers, and they're out there now, and you may have seen them on TV, or if you're on Facebook, you'll see a lot of those. So if you see an ad, remember, any travel agent has access to those offers, and we can look after a lot of the details so that you don't have to, so that you can relax. It's all taken care of. So again, good time to reach out to your favorite travel agent, and if you don't have one, we're always available. A couple of examples for these Black Friday MSC cruises. November 12th to the 25th, bookings, cruise with drinks, Wi-Fi included, up to $400 onboard credit. Princess Cruises has their cyber sale on right now, up to 50% off, 50% reduced deposits, third and fourth guests in the cabin free. Exotica, I know one of our great travel partners, tours all around the world, up to 70% off.
Wow.
Black Friday sales. So again, lots of offers out there. So again, depending what you're thinking, give us a call or give your favorite travel agent a call and have a discussion with them and see what they can find for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And as we mentioned, Christmas is only 7 weeks away. Not sure what to get your significant other or friend or relative. Think about a travel gift certificate. Good for any booking with our office. Any amount that you want to do. It never expires until it's completely used. We had a client who purchased and received one and used it right away. And we've got a couple of clients that's taking them, well, so far they still got a balance on there and it's 3 years. They don't travel a lot, but it was one they won through a contest. So again, it doesn't expire. It just sits there until you use it.
Nice.
If you just need some professional help or have some questions about travel plans, Crowfoot Travel Solutions, probably serving Calgary in the area for over 25 years now. So we've got lots of agents. They all have little niches. So we've got somebody who can look after you no matter how small or how big your travel needs are. And that way you can just relax because it's all taken care of.
And what is that number if they want that free phone call?
In Calgary, you're calling us at 403-241-7140. Outside Calgary, toll-free 1-877-511-5511. Then you too can relax. It's all taken care of.
Indeed, sir.
Have a great week, everyone.
And that is our show for this week. If you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a show idea, send that along as well. My email is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you like what you heard, tell a friend. You can check out our website too at theinformedtraveler.org. In the meantime, thanks for listening, travel safe, and be an informed traveler.